In this video, I'll show you how to check if a string is a palindrome in JavaScript. A palindrome is a word that can be read both from left and from right the same. So regardless if you read it left to right or right to left, it's read the same way. So let's start by using our example string of radar, and let's set it to str variable. But let's not make it a complete palindrome, and you'll see why in a second. So now I'm going to declare a new function definition, and I'm going to name this is palindrome, and I'm going to give it the param of str. And now inside of the function, I'm going to set the str to str.split, and I'm going to split it by an empty string. And now I can console.log the str. And now let's invoke the isPalindrome function and pass it the str to see what we get. And indeed, we are getting the string split as an array where each character of the string is a single member of the array. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reverse this array. So let's see what we get. And now indeed we are reversing the order of the array. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to join. So I'm going to join the array back into a string. So let's see how that works. And indeed now I'm getting the string reversed and output to the console. Okay, so now that I have this, the next thing I want to do is I want to kind of make a better output to the user. So let's say that instead of just console logging str, I'm going to make it a bit different. So I'm going to declare this as let str1. And here I'm going to console log str plus is a palindrome plus, and here I'm just going to output the check of comparing str1 to str. Okay, so now let's test this one. And I'm asking if radarx is a palindrome, and I'm getting a false. However, if I set it just to radar and run it again, I'm going to get a true. So that works. But there are ways to improve it because, of course, the implementation is not perfect. And the reason why it's not perfect is what will happen if I add a space here. So let's see how that behaves. And it's saying that nurse's run is not a palindrome. So obviously, we are going to have to take into account the situation where nurse's run doesn't have a space. And this is actually what is probably meant by this string being a palindrome. So we need to kind of normalize this string. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to say let, or I'm just going to reassign the str to str.replace all. And then inside of here, I'm going to replace all instances of a space with an empty string. Okay. So now when I run this, nurse's run is a palindrome. Okay, so this seems to be working. But what if we have a capital N instead of the lowercase n here? And now we're getting the result of nurse's run check being a palindrome as false, because obviously the capital N and the lowercase n are considered to be a different character. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to extend the implementation where I'll set the str right here to lowercase. And thanks to the method chaining available in JavaScript, where I can chain one method right after the other, this should still work. And now I'm getting nurses run is a palindrome as being true. So what else we can do to improve the implementation right here? Well, one thing that I can do is I don't want this output right here because this is basically the output of the updated str. I want the user to see the original str in this question. So to do that, let's update our implementation a little bit further. So I'm going to set this this variable here to str1. This one is going to be str2. I'm going to compare str1 to str2. And here I'm going to also add the output of these. I'm going to output the values of these variables just to make sure that I have some kind of a check in place to confirm what is happening in my code. And now let's just do it like that. str2. And finally, in the console log here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use backticks to easily include the double quote character. Then I'm going to append it to string. And I'm going to use the backticks again for another one. And now that I have all of this, let's run it and see nurses run, nurses run. So obviously this one right here is not converted properly. So let's just see what we can do here. So I have string to lowercase replace all right here, but here I have string split without running lowercase on it. So if I do that right now, let's see, that's going to improve the situation. It does partially, it's getting rid of the capital letter, but it doesn't get rid of the space. So that means that I need to also use this thing right here. And now when I add it in right here, now it should be working, but I'm making a syntax error. So let's run it again. And now nurses run is a palindrome returns true, which is all great, but I don't really need to maybe use so much similar code. So let's optimize the function a little bit. So basically, I'm going to say clean string, clean str, and then I'm going to output clean str. And now here I'm going to say reversed clean str, reversed clean str. And now that means that I'm going to use clean str here, str, and I'm going to run this reverse on it. And now, of course, I can no longer use str, but instead I'm using reversed clean str. And I'm also going to compare the clean str with reverse clean str. And let's see if I've done everything correctly. Nurses run is a palindrome, returns true. So finally, let's just clean it up a little bit more. We can get rid of these console logs because they just helped us get here, but we don't really need them. And now when I run this, I'm getting the result. So let's just try to test it with one more string. This time I'm going to say never, odd, or even. And let's see what that returns. And indeed, this is a palindrome. So that's it. That's your implementation. How to code a palindrome checker in JavaScript.